Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new video. I am Verena Borell. I work with evolutionary astrology, somatic experiencing, and my intuitive guidance. And today I want to talk with you and share about Venus retrograde phase 2025 and the new Venus cycle in Aries. First of all, I have some goodies and offerings that go with this video. So please make sure that you have a look to the video description, and there you find the links to my free Venus PDF guide. In this guide, you learn more about planet Venus, the energies and topics that planet Venus reflects and represents, and you learn a little bit more about the Venus cycle. So don't miss this Venus freebie. And secondly, I have written a blog article in English and in German language that you can read on my blog. You find the link in the video description too. And this blog article is on Venus retrograde and the Venus cycle, if you like to read something too. And I have another very powerful offering. It is my three-part workshop experience, my Venus cycle in Aries workshop experience. And this is really an in-depth offering of mine. It is three parts because it has a pre-recorded masterclass, which goes about 75 minutes, where you learn everything about the Venus cycle in general. Planet Venus, and this is important to mention, the retrograde phase is just one phase of the whole Venus cycle. And one Venus cycle lasts around 19 months. And in my workshop, in the first part of it, the pre-recorded masterclass, you learn everything about the Venus cycle and the different phases, energies, and topics that the Venus cycle represents. The morning star phase, the underworld phase, the evening star phase, and of course, the retrograde phase. And in this masterclass, I really dive deep into the topics, and I give you also practical tips how you can sync with the Venus cycle. And maybe you want to do the workshop because you want, on a personal level, connect with Venus, or because you want to enrich and deepen your holistic offerings like circles, ceremonies, your coaching work, your coaching offers, your content with the Venus cycle. So I give you practical tips and applications how you can weave Venus wisdom into your personal life, into your personal evolution, and into your holistic offerings. And then the second part of my Venus cycle in Aries workshop experience is a live workshop. It happens in English language on March 19 and in German language on March 18. And of course, if you're watching that after March 19, or if you have no time on this date, you get the recording afterwards. And this live workshop focuses really on the topics of the new and upcoming Venus cycle in Aries. So we go all into the Aries topics, which will be important and in the field and part of our personal and collective evolution for the upcoming 19 months. So these Venus cycle and Aries topics are really important for us on a collective and on a personal level from March 2025 till October 2026. So it's a long cycle. And the overtone is Aries. And what that means for you personally and also for your clients, if you work as a holistic practitioner, that will be covered in the workshop. And I will also guide you into a Venus meditation during our live workshop. So come live, join live. You can ask me your question. We can meditate together and embody and feel into the Venus and Aries topics. And then, as a special goodie, on the day when Venus starts her new cycle in Aries, which is March 23rd, I will co-host a Venus cycle cacao ceremony together with my collaborator and friend Naomi Hadler. And you can book additionally to this, it's part of my Venus cycle workshop experience. You can book that. I highly recommend you booking that additionally, the Venus cacao ceremony. So we will sync with cacao and embrace and initiate the new Venus cycle in Aries together online with cacao so that we can really, cacao is the medicine of the heart. It's so much connected to Venus so that you can really receive and open your heart, receive new intentions for the upcoming 19 months Venus cycle. This cacao ceremony is in English language, and of course it will be recorded. So it's great if you can join us live because it is the day of the start of the new Venus cycle. But of course, the energy is in the field. So you can do the cacao ceremony, such as the workshop, such as the masterclass over the next weeks and months, whenever you feel called to Venus. And why the Venus cycle and syncing with the Venus cycle and knowing about the Venus cycle is so powerful, it's because it's really, especially in Aries, I have the feeling that it's a heroine's journey. It's a 19 months long heroine's journey, which, if you consciously sync with it, has the potential that you strengthen the feminine energies within yourself. And this all is completely independent from your sexual orientation, from your physical gender. Venus is an omnipresent principle. The feminine principle, the yin energy, which is completely independent and regardless of any sexual orientation or gender. And if you long for more heart connection, more body connection, strengthening the feminine principle in yourself, or if you work with other human beings as a holistic practitioner who want to strengthen their yin energies, their feminine energies, it's so powerful to sync consciously with the Venus cycle, to celebrate the monthly Venus gates, to be aware of Venus as a morning star and what that means, Venus as an evening star and what that means, Venus in the underworld, Venus retrograde. All of these phases can help you to get in closer contact with your Venus energy, your heart's desires, your body wisdom. And I love to give these Venus cycle workshops. It's my third one. I gave one in 2023 at the beginning of the Venus cycle in Leo. I gave one in 2021 at the start of the Venus cycle in Capricorn. And this Venus cycle in Aries will be a very special one because my natal Venus is also in Aries. So I think I'm kind of a Venus in Aries expert. So join me for this workshop. I would love to share my personal wisdom and the wisdom that flows from Venus through me to you. Yeah, that are my offerings around Venus. And now I want to share with you in this video, especially about Venus retrograde. So in my workshop, we go really into all of the phases. And now I want to share some insights, some inspirations about Venus current retrograde phase, or if you watched that after April, about Venus last retrograde phase. I give you some dates. Venus stationed retrograde on March 2nd in 10 degrees Aries. And she built a square to Mars in Cancer at that time. I will talk more about that in a second. Then Venus builds her interior, her inner conjunction with the sun, the Venus-Sun Cazimi, the Venus Cazimi, which marks the start of the new cycle on March 23rd at 2 degree Aries in a sextile to Pluto and in a conjunction to Mercury and Neptune and the North Node. And Venus will then go longer retrograde, travel back, regresses from Aries into Pisces. And Venus will then station direct on April 13 at 24 degree Pisces in a conjunction to Ceres, Saturn, the North Node, and Mercury in Pisces and Neptune in Aries. And at that point, she builds a trine to Mars in Cancer. So she starts the retrograde in a square to Mars, and she ends the retrograde in a trine to Mars. And she is in Mars sign, Aries. So first of all, and we dive very deep into that in my workshop, I want you to maybe reframe a little bit your idea about retrograde Venus, because the retrograde phase is really like a reset phase. So the old cycle, which began in August 2023 in Leo, the old Venus cycle ends, and the new cycle in Aries starts. And Venus retrograde is really like a reset. What relationships, what old Venus topics want to come to an end? And can you open yourself up? Can you open your heart? Can you listen inward to receive new intentions, to receive new longings of your heart, desires of your body, and so on? For the next cycle, which will last until October 2026 to start. So we are building the ground for a new cycle, and we are releasing and letting go and eventually grieving old relationship patterns, relationship to ourselves, to others. And especially because Mars is so strongly involved, I have the feeling it is very much that topics around belonging, home, and your soul family are in the field. So maybe these topics have already shown up over the last months because these are also topics of Mars retrograde. Mars was retrograde first in Leo, then in Cancer from December till the end of February. And Mars is still in Cancer when I'm recording that in the midst of March. So, and Mars in Cancer has these relationships with Venus retrograde in Aries. So I have the feeling here is this continuation of topics that are around who is your soul family? What does home and belonging mean to you? What is inner security for you? Inner safety. And I know that especially when you live in the US, I live in Europe, but I have many, many friends and clients in the US. And I know that also on a collective level, many people from the US don't feel any longer like they belong. And it does not feel any longer like home because of the political situation, because of the tragedy of the wildfires in LA. So you can always see the cosmos just reflects something that is in the field and that wants to work through and that wants to heal, evolved. The cosmos, the Venus cycle just reflects something that is here. And maybe it is very present for you. These topics around, what does belonging and home mean for you? Who is my soul family? Where is home for me? And I think especially when now Venus in Aries is kicking in, there is this whole topic of who is my soul family? Who are the people that I can be authentic with? So do I allow myself to set boundaries, to say what I need and want in my relationships. And this is a big Venus and Aries theme, and I will definitely go deep into this topic of boundaries, desires, needs, authenticity within relationships in my workshop. But yeah, I just want to give you this quick insight that you maybe want to reflect upon which cycles and which relationships are coming to an end. Where can I not show up as the person that I truly are? Yeah. And also, what is really important to me in relationships? Maybe that has changed. Yeah. What does my heart long for? What are my values in relationships? It might also be the case that there are topics around self-worth, self-confidence, self-trust showing up. Yeah. So the first question is, and this is something that might be very strongly in the field for you during Venus retrograde phase, that you ask yourself, there have been so many changes in my life. What are actually my needs? What is my heart and my body longing for? Where are my boundaries? How do I want to feel within relationships? How do I want to feel in the relationship to my work, to my offers, to my family, to my friends, to my plants, to my puppies, to myself? What do I need truly? And when I'm really self-honest. And do I allow myself to speak them out loud, to say in relationships what I need, to say what are my boundaries, to say what are my what I'm willing to give and what I'm not willing to give. And I personally made the experience that in the last weeks, in certain relationships, I said what I can offer and what I cannot offer. What are my boundaries and what feels good for me and what feels not good for me. And I made two very different experiences. I made the experience that my friend said, "Oh, wow, yes, Verena, no problem. I totally respect that. That's completely fine. Thank you for being so honest." And I also made the experience that some people could not accept that. And this was not what they needed from our relationships, So we had to go separate paths. And that does hurt, but that is okay. And that is very honest too. So feel into yourself. Venus retrograde is very much about what do you need? And be very honest to yourself. Do I have this, what I need in my relationships? And where is it time to be very honest with myself and with others? And create over the next 19 months, the next Venus cycle, relationships where I, Venus and Aries, can be myself. And I mean, we had in 2023 and in 2024, the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra. So this whole topic around authenticity in relationships is already in evolution on a personal and collective level. So it's coming now to a new level. And also with this Pisces flavor, and I will talk more about this in the workshop. It's about surrendering and taking aligned actions. But I don't want to go so deep here because I created a whole workshop for that. I think it is very, very important to mention that the new Venus cycle starts in a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. So this whole topic around community is showing up. With Mars in Cancer, we have these topics around belonging and your soul family. And with Pluto in Aquarius, it's about this soul community. And who are my soul friends and where they are actually hanging up. And I have the feeling that here's something around offline and online. So maybe you are a person who is looking for soul friends and like-minded and like-hearted people in your immediate environment, in your neighborhood, in your city, offline. And maybe you are making the experience, or you make the experience that there are actually no people that you can connect with. So maybe you live in the countryside and there are actually no people who are with you on a wavelength and who feel like your spiritual soul friends. And then it is maybe time to be open for online friends. So many of my best friends, one of my best friends, she lives in Hawaii, and I live in Austria in Europe. So be open to find online and online spaces. I have online spaces. Other practitioners have online spaces that you meet online. People who are on a wavelength with you, who feel like your star family, your soul family, your spirit family. And that does not mean that you need to go on Instagram or on social media, because I am not a big friend. I am actually not any longer really active on Instagram. So there are other beautifully curated rooms, programs, groups that you can join. For example, my Soul and Soma Telegram channel or other programs and offerings, or you come to my Venus Cycle and Aries workshop, where you find other people, where you can connect. And when you are primarily connected online with people, maybe you feel this deep desire and this deep longing to find actually some soul friends or a spiritual community in your direct environment. Maybe you are missing physical contact. Maybe you are missing the feeling of being hugged after a yoga class or after an in-person event, or just to be in room with others. And maybe then it is time to open your heart just a little tiny bit and maybe take some baby steps and have a look if in your neighborhood or in your town or in your village is something happening that feels it could be something for you. Maybe there's a yoga studio, or maybe there is some sort of, maybe you'd like to go outside and in nature. Maybe you find some environment stuff or some exercise stuff or something where you can connect. So open your heart just a little bit to find your soul community, offline or online. And yeah, just in general, I think this whole Venus retrograde phase, especially the first half of the retrograde phase, is really about letting go, releasing all that is no longer serving you in regard of the relationship to yourself and others, and then looking really inward, being very honest with yourself about topics around self-worth, your needs, what you are wishing for, what you are looking for, what you are desiring in your relationships. And then when the new Venus cycle starts, really, yeah, open your heart up to receive new intentions and yeah, making a foundation, preparing the ground for new cycles to start. Yeah, how do you want to relate to yourself and others? What nourishes your body and your heart? And I think when Venus then stations direct in the trine to Mars, maybe there is more clarity regarding your issues around relationships and so on. But also it's in Pisces, it's water sign, so trust the flow. And if you feel called to dive deeper into Venus topics, you know, there's a freebie, a Venus freebie waiting for you. There's a blog article waiting for you, and there's a whole Venus workshop and Aries experience waiting for you that you can join live or that you can buy whenever you want during this whole 19 months long Venus cycle in Aries, and have then access, immediate access to all of the recordings, the masterclass, the workshop, and eventually the Venus cacao ceremony if you book them. So yeah, feel free to check all of that out. Don't miss the freebie. And another beautiful offering that lasts until the end of April and that I want to recommend to you is my new Soul and Soma Telegram channel in English language. And in this channel, it's not a group. It's a one-way channel, so you receive just messages from me, and I support you ongoing. Every 2 to 3 days, you get a voice message from me. And I share astro updates, very intuitive messages that I receive from my spirit guides, and somatic impulses and somatic exercises about the energies that are in the field. Right now, it is very much about this whole Pisces Virgo axis, about this, finding a balance between focus and flow. And when we then go into Aries season, I will, share more about that. But it's really a wonderful channel where you receive voice messages. You don't have to scroll and dump scroll and doom scroll on Instagram. You receive messages from me. If you resonate with my voice, if you like what I'm sharing here in my videos, then you will love this channel. You receive inspirational pictures and images. I recorded already a meditation, somatic exercises. So you are really supported during this time of the eclipses, during Pisces and Aries season, because I know how intense the energy is right now. So I created this channel especially for you, especially for this part of the year, the eclipse season, Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Pisces Aries season, to support you ongoing. Wherever you are, you can listen to the voice messages in your pace. You get reflection prompts and so much magic. And I'm very touched how much magic wants to flow through me into this channel. So I'll see you in the Venus workshop, in the Soul and Soma channel, and take your time during Venus retrograde to look inward, to connect with your body, to connect with your heart. And I would love to support you by doing that with my offerings. Thank you so much for watching. I would love if you comment below the video, if you write what is coming up for you, share the video with your friends, and so family. If you are watching that on my personal channel, then please subscribe my Verena Borell astrology channel. And if you are watching that on a different channel, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, Verena Borell Astrology. Thanks for watching. If you want to be informed about all of my offerings, subscribe to my newsletter. See you very soon. Thank you and bye.